Hi, guys. Welcome to the Streamer Therapy podcast. This is BTS, not the boy band. No, don't be disappointed. Behind the scenes, actually behind the stream, balance and wellness, and it's a three-parter. So this is part one. I'm your host, YouKayy, and joining me today is the lovely Kate and KitKat, and you may know them as their online personas, Kiwisimskate and KitKatGinger. Let's start with a little bit of a background. You already know my background and KitKat's background from season 1 and mine from season 2. If you haven't watched season 1 and 2, you need to stop right now, pause it, watch those and then come back, obviously. So I'm just a little bit about me really quickly. I'm Cozy, a variety streamer with sprinkles of chaos. But if you guys can go ahead and tell us, introduce yourself, share a little bit about your streaming journey, and your current job. I guess, Kate, if you want to go first.
Hi, everyone. My name's Kiwisimskate. Kiwi because I'm from New Zealand, Sims because I love The Sims, and Kate because that's my name.
I love that.
That's my shtick. I know Pete's got it down. So my name's Kate, and I'm from New Zealand, and I started streaming in 2021, not long after I also actually started podcasting, something very different to what I stream though. So I predominantly stream The Sims 4, it was like a me game. And then I discovered this thing called streaming where I could share my hobbies with other people. What? And I started really kind of unsure if I would enjoy it. The idea of streaming a video game while other people watch me and I talk to a camera like in front of nobody.
Yeah.
It was really odd to me. I didn't grow up with the internet. I'm a little old. I started kind of gaming when I was a little older. So all this sort of newfangled young tech stuff was like, what? What is it?
Like she's not young.
Kids doing?
Oh, God.
So it took me a little while to kind of come to terms with accepting it and being really, be able to tell my IRL friends, I'm a streamer. And then here I am today. I've gone through streaming more days a week, streaming fewer days a week, which I'm sure we'll get into a bit later today. And I can kind of explore. But mostly Sims content, but I love all sorts of games. I love RPGs. I love some first-person shooters. I love a lot of simulation games, building, that kind of thing. And I also hold a current full-time job. So I work as a human-centered designer. And a lot of people are like, okay, that's cool. What is it?
Yeah.
So I work to solve complex problems effectively in the organization I work for. So I won't share who I work for, but I help our business to solve problems from a human perspective. So I look at kind of customer first when it comes to things that we're trying to improve on or solve within the business. And it uses design thinking process, which some people might be familiar with when it comes to kind of UX and UI design for tech. Feel free to ask me more questions about it if I'm explaining it really terribly, but it's like about customer experience effectively, and helping the business understand it. So working to kind of spread that knowledge within the business as well as delivering outcomes for our customers.
I'm going to be furiously Googling more about you later. Thank you so much for that, Kate. You already know and met KitKat, but for those of us that are tuning in, share a little bit about your streaming journey and your current job, KitKat. And I don't think we know what you do, so there you go.
So mysterious.
Mysterious.
Hello, friends. I'm so excited to be back again. I loved the first episode recording it, so I'm so excited to do it again.
Thank you for coming back, by the way.
Yes.
After my chaos, she's like,
this is so fun.
You know what? We'll come back. I deserve, I need to have more chaos in my life.
So like the lovely UK said, I am Kit Kat. My mom did not name me that, but it's close. So I started streaming in 2021 as well on May the 4th, actually, because we love Star Wars over in this house. But I found out about Twitch back in like November of 2020, I think, because I was just getting back into playing The Sims 4. I also play The Sims 4 a lot, as you probably know from my first time on the pod. I just gotten back into playing Sims over the summer because it was 2020 and there was nothing to do. I live alone except for my pets, and so they only provide so much mental stimulation to me when they're asleep all day, because they're both old men. Old men pets. But so like besides like walking outside, it's like, well, what do? I'm not allowed to go anywhere. So I like had downloaded The Sims, and I found Twitch roundabout by like Sims YouTube videos. One of the Sims YouTubers that I was watching, she said something about Twitch, and I was like, oh, what is this? And so I got on, and I was just watching VODs of hers because I didn't realize they were live. I think I understood like she was talking to people who were watching, but I don't know. It just I was like wasn't like, oh, maybe I should find somebody else like who's live right now, because that person would stream like in the late in the evenings for me when I'd be like going to bed. And so I happened to be like, oh well, there's a Sims 4 category. Maybe I can see who else is live. And so I found a couple of different streamers that way, and just through that time period was like, this has been really fun to get to talk to other people who love The Sims or learn about other games that I've never heard of. And still a lot of the time I don't know what that game is. Like a big game or something. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just a little simmer. I don't know what you're talking about. But I've definitely, grown in the types of games that I am familiar with and have played. So I was just wanting to find something else to do, because even in 2021 it was still a lot of not going anywhere for quite a while. So, and as someone who lives alone, I was like, what did I even do before streaming? Absolutely nothing. Like just sit there and watch TV all night. Basically that was it. So it's good to have a variety of things to do besides just staring at the television.
Yeah.
But my current job, I work for a local university in the graduate admissions department. I used to do like admissions for some of the programs, but there was this whole thing that happened. I'm not going to talk about it because it would probably be too obvious.
Too doxing.
Yeah, just because I do live in Indiana, and so it would be like too specific. But and like that's known, just not where. So I used to do admissions, and then there was like a shift in my job responsibilities where I did get a little bit of a raise, so that was nice, a whole 3% or something. But I now do like our scholarships and like enrollment stuff. I'm not exactly sure what like how that fits. Like I don't know. It's still really new. Like I just kind of transitioned in February or April, or February, March or April. I don't remember exactly when it was. So it's more recent, and it's still like, kind of developing. But that's basically what I do. It's an office job, 9 to 5, or get my 40 hours in and go home.
I actually didn't realize what you did fully. So that's cool. I mean, now I know that KitKat can give me a scholarship. Can you just make one up?
I do the admin. Ugh.
Yeah. No, you can just do it. I know you've got the power. You know where the things are. So you just like slip me a scholarship for professional streamer.
I thought it was so interesting because you were like one of the local universities.
Yeah.
But I won't name which one. And it's like in New Zealand, we're so tiny. If I had said one of the local universities, we've got one in my city. So
we wouldn't know. We'll pin it down. We know exactly which one it is. Yeah. So KitKat can print us all diplomas, and Kate will design us.
Thank you. Yes.
Make us more human. For those of you that don't know what I do, I have two backgrounds backgrounds now. So one, I'm in the optical industry, so for eyes. So I was doing that for over 10 years now. I've done literally every single role you could think of in the optical business, except for the actual optometry. But I've done everything else. I do like all the smaller testing stuff, do your glasses, all the troubleshooting, all that kind of stuff. And I've been in the management in that role, running clinics. And then I'm just transitioning into another field for ears. So I am now doing like hearing checks. I run my own clinic, and I also help run 2 other audiologist clinics. And I'm going to be hopefully doing a diploma in the new year to qualify to run a full being able to do more. So I'm in the eyes and ears industry, and yeah, so we're all doing different things. It's really cool. But if you have any questions about your eyes and ears, be sure to message me about it.
Careful, you get everyone's like, I've got this lump here. Can you help me?
I'm like, no.
Please don't send me a photo of that.
No, don't do that. I guess we'll go into sorry, there's somebody in chat like, I can't see, help me. But actually, I just want to quickly add what KitKat was saying about during COVID. It was like, what else do we do? But it's like I read something and I was like, it's still it's still so true till this day. It was like I can stop lying to myself about saying about all the things that I would do if I had time, because now we had time, but we still didn't do the things that we said that we were going to do if only we had time.
So true.
So let's go into the next question, which is so what inspired you to start streaming, and how do you manage to juggle it alongside your other... Actually, we already said the started streaming part. Let's ignore that one. Let's just go straight into how do you manage to juggle it alongside your other responsibilities. But I guess if you wanted to add anything else to what inspired you on top of what you said, feel free to. I'll throw this one to KitKat first, and then
So I think what inspired me, I guess I kind of touched on it. Mm-hmm. Not that just there was nothing to do. It was more about like sharing the games that I love with other people who also love them or want to learn more about them or just want to hang out. Either is fine. If you don't know what The Sims is or don't care, that's fine too.
Can I just say that we're probably going to talk about Sims a lot. The first podcast, Kate, we had so much conversation about Sims.
Do you know, I'm wearing my Sims t-shirt.
Oh God, you know
I love it.
Oh my God, this is just going to become I know it. I'm already foreseeing it. It's going to be a
He's
Sims
actually just going to become a summer.
Just after today, yeah. Sorry, KitKat, keep going about your...
No, so it was just like connecting with people and building community. And how do I manage to juggle it alongside other responsibilities? Well, for work, at least for me, I'm lucky, I guess, that I'm lower in the organization to where I'm just an hourly worker and I can only work 40 hours a week. It's only supposed to be between like the hours of 7 and 6, like to get your 40 hours in, although you're not supposed to do like 10-hour days to then, be off on Friday. So I have a very like specific schedule that I have when I'm at work. Not always thinking about work, but sometimes I am thinking about what am I going to stream later. Or like, I wish I was playing a game and not here.
Relatable.
Not here dealing with this. It's like very, structured and specific. And so when I'm clocked out, I might think about something like bothered me. Or again, I also have anxiety, so I might have anxiety about something that's like going on, but it's not like, I need to think about how to solve this problem. We don't do that here. When we're out, we're out. I'm not getting paid to think about work. So that's like the motto that I try to have. And then like
amazing.
Family.
Yeah.
Like with family and like other personal life responsibilities, I always try for that to come first, even like before work, because work is just how I make money. It's not my life. I don't breathe university joy or whatever.
Do you know your
I don't
university's
even have
chant by heart?
I do, because actually I don't know about the chant, but like the song I know, because my high school actually used like the fight song as our fight song, like as the like rhythm and notes and stuff. We changed the words, and I just thought it was ours growing up.
And then you realized you stole it.
Yeah, I was like, they took that, which I guess most high schools do. It's too much work to compose a new song
Well,
for
Americans are professional at stealing things.
that. They are from each other. So
Yeah, I mean, so are the Brits, so I
That's
wouldn't
true.
be too
Exactly.
much on your high horse there.
Exactly. I know.
we learned it from our mom and dad.
Yeah. Kate's like,
But yeah.
I know you're British. Calm down.
I mean, yeah, I'm half British, so I can't speak either. I hold my head's
Like, hey, we got to remind everybody we're all the
Yes.
worst.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I can't think of anything else to add.
Yeah. Kate, I guess, how do you manage to juggle?
KitKat, you stole all the good stuff, basically.
You can have it. You can start next time.
I would say very, very similar. So I guess I didn't explain the why I started streaming, and again, KitKat stole it too. I came to Twitch through YouTube. So I was just, it was like that slow sort of, I play a game on my own, then I start watching gaming content of the game that I play on YouTube of other people playing it. And it's like and then the next step was realizing that Twitch is a thing and people go live, and then it's I want to try that. I want to build a community and share that with others, because I didn't have many IRL friends who are gamers. I've sort of met a few more over the few years, but when I started, I didn't have people I knew who were heavily into gaming and that kind of world. So what better way to meet some than to start on Twitch? So that was kind of my start. And then my balance, how do I balance? Well, look, sometimes not so well is the short answer. I have very similar kind of lines as well, and I guess mottos and beliefs around that, what comes first in my life, what's most important to me, what are my priorities, and streaming is not the top priority for me. So although I absolutely adore it and love it and put energy into it, there are things that will always come first, and I've made that decision quite I have sort of almost written it down, and family, like myself, comes first. My own health and well-being comes first, and then next would be my family and friends, and then next would be my job, because I get paid well to do it, and it's sort of secure and all of that. And so maybe if Twitch for me did become more of a viable income stream, then those two might start to shift. But actually at the moment in my life, it's very much my full-time work is the priority, and then my streaming comes next. So yeah, I look at it as a hierarchy, and I just do my best. Basically, I balance it by doing my best, by making sure that my kind of intention to do it is always there, and if it's not, then I need to kind of acknowledge it in myself and say, okay, maybe it's not a day I want to stream. Or so being open and honest with myself and my community around why I'm here, what my goals are, what the point of it all is, so that I don't get into a position where the balance shifts too far one way and I don't feel, and then that first priority, which is my well-being, gets kind of deteriorates or something. So it's a struggle, and I also make sure I'm not over committing. So in terms of schedule, there was a time, so I've only been in my current job at my organization since February as well, and prior to that I had quite a long gap last year of not working at all and job hunting. So I was streaming more. I was streaming like 4 or 5 times a week, and that was doable. But when I went back to work, I knew that wasn't going to be possible, so I cut it back.
Yeah, I actually noticed that because I saw that you were streaming a lot last year compared to this year. Yeah. So I'm just going to quickly answer this for myself, and then we'll move on to the next questions. So in terms of me, so just visualize with me a candle, and you're holding it horizontally. Vertically. Wait. This way.
Which one?
This way.
Up and down.
This way.
Oh,
sideways.
Horizontal.
Yeah. Horizontal. Thank you. Why did I forget? Anyway, so we're holding it horizontally, and on this candle, and then on both ends, the candle is lit. That's me. And just so I guess for me, I have made a vow to myself to try to balance a lot more. To be honest, how I balance, because if you don't know, I'm a mom. I do have a lot of side things that I do. The job is quite intense, and streaming, looking after your community, and I feel like there's a sense of responsibility to your community as well. And obviously, like I love my community as well, so I want to be there for them as well as much as possible. And it is hard. And the funny thing is, I'm a huge mental health advocate, but I struggle with it myself. But do you know what? In saying that, that's not a bad thing. I feel like I can be a bit more empathetic to people in that way, because I'm also struggling with my mental health and I just trying to balance everything. So I guess, how do I balance it? I try really hard, and support from my family really helps. Like sometimes, like I have to just take a day. I just have to take a day where I'm just going to be taking 3 hours of this day where I just got to smash out as much content stuff as possible. And then the rest of the week I can focus on my job and then my life and things like that. I think it's a continuous battle for me, a continuous struggle for me. But yeah, but as we're leading into the next topic, which is the mental health in streaming, because it goes hand in hand, definitely. Mental health in streaming, finding the balance. And the reason why I chose my guest today as well is because, we all work in look, I would say it's not like, I don't know if it's super demanding, but like it does take a good chunk of our lives. And that's why I wanted to do this stream, because there are some streamers that don't work. They do just streaming. But I just wanted to talk about those of us that do stream and have a very full-time and a job that is a bit more intense, I want to say, a little bit, yeah. But anyway, so we're going to go into the mental health aspect in streaming. So I guess, Kate, if you wanted to answer this question first, because we're sort of going into that anyway. Streaming can
skipping
be...
ahead.
Yes, okay. Streaming can be mentally taxing, but how do you prioritize self-care while creating content and interacting with your community? So I think you did talk a little bit about how to prioritize, but if you want to go into a bit more.
So prioritizing self-care, and also what was the second bit about the community?
So while creating content and then interacting with your community.
Yeah. I mean, it's something that I work on a lot. It's not something I've created this way of doing things and then it just runs smoothly. Like it's an ongoing, I'm working on it. I've been streaming for quite a few years now, and it's still something that, as you say, needs that balance and always needing to keep myself in check. I've made that kind of priority list, and I guess that's where I always try and go back to. So if there's ever a moment where I feel overwhelmed or anxious or unsure of kind of my kind of streaming life, I will go back to my priorities and make sure that I'm balancing those as I should. I also have learned over the years to not, and this is really difficult to do as a streamer, I think, to not be hard on myself if I need to take a break, because I think that's the default is you said the word responsibility, and it's so true. There is this sense of responsibility that you don't have if you're just playing a game on your own. It's such a huge difference, huge shift in your hobby and this thing that you enjoy to then go and stream it and create this community. That's another thing I try and remember, is that it's not actually my responsibility. Like I feel a sense of responsibility, but it's not my responsibility. Like it's everyone's responsibility to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
And there's this thing that I'm sharing with people, but that's the thing that I'm kind of coming to terms with and trying to play out in the way I do things, is that I want to create this wonderful community, but I want everyone to have their own sense of responsibility rather than everyone looking at me to be, the guiding source
this is just a
entertainment.
This is actually quite like another question within a question then, what you just said. KitKat, do you feel that way? Because what Kate said about feeling responsible for a community, because this is so interesting that that's just come out from that question.
I think there was a time earlier on when I thought that I had to be like a certain way or like more involved. And I mean, you're in my Discord. It's not popping, and because I think and that's fine. That's actually like I love that. Like we can go in every once in a while, and there's like 18 messages from YouKayy, but
I knew she was gonna call me out on it.
she just throws them all in there and leaves, mops away, and I just like react. But that's also fine. Like I think at the beginning I was comparing myself to people who had been streaming a lot longer than I had, who boomed over COVID and just had like massive growth and became partners and all this stuff. And at the beginning I was like sort of like talking more to other smaller streamers, but ones who had some big ideas, like big ideas that they would become partner and all this stuff. And it's just like we're not seeing that kind of a growth. Like some people are, and that's great. But for me, especially because of how the health insurance organization is tied to your job in this country, I can't just like quit my job and become a full-time streamer. One, because I don't make that much. It's a great little bit of supplement for, helping adopt the dog or help him get, puppy health insurance or whatever. But it's not like going to keep the lights on.
Yeah.
For me. So that's another reason I have to have a full-time job.
Yeah. Completely agree.
Yeah.
With everything.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess how are you prioritizing your self-care then with the content creating? And because I feel like you work and then you stream, like you that's your schedule, like on your days off as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think early on too, I was like watching some YouTube videos from like people who are like how to stream on Twitch, how to make affiliate, even just hit the minor level. And that was me just asking.
So you mean to tell me there's videos like that? So people don't need to come into our chats and be like, hey,
and ask,
how do you stream? Like, how do I do this? I'm trying to become a streamer. Can you help me?
Yeah. No, they're videos, buddy. That's how you got videos to set up OBS. And I mean, it's just
Kate's
just
like,
the type
did she
of
just
content.
say that? Hey,
I mean, that's something I've learned is just to be like, I'm not qualified to be a therapist or a teacher. Thank you for joining us. But
see, this is what happens in this
what
podcast.
Does this word mean?
We get real. Listen, we're getting real. We're getting truthful. Okay.
I mean, I think especially like smaller streamers, which I mean, small is probably partner and under.
Yeah.
Or under partner, like, under 75 average views.
Yes.
Like, it's not going to happen, which is fine. Like, I prioritize self-care. Like, I keep getting away from the question, but like,
I'm like, are you trying to, it's fine. We can just move on. It's fine.
Just on the soapbox. But like, I think especially now, like earlier on, I think I, like Kate was saying, like being too hard on myself. Because I mean, it took me like a month and a half to get to affiliate. And I mean, the summer before, I had been doing like DoorDash to try to get a little bit of extra money. But I didn't like doing it like after dark because,
it's after dark.
Woman just driving around in the dark to people's houses.
Yeah.
So I never did that. So that's why in the summer it's good because, it's light until like 9:30 here. I just didn't want to do that anymore because it was more time away from my dog and cat. And like, I didn't want to be just in the car for hours at a time driving to take people their Taco Bell or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I started to try to look at streaming as like an escape too, like kind of like gaming is by itself. And sometimes you just need to be playing a game by yourself and just kind of like de-stress that way. But I feel like for me, streaming is like a good way to do that, but also like share it with others. Because you're not all right here crowding around me.
Yeah.
There are people
here. I might be
be
behind you. You don't know.
Remus was earlier.
Oh my god, Remus is so cute. Sometimes like there was an entire moment like for a full hour of the podcast, her cat was just sitting on there and like people like, is that cat real? Like, is that a real cat? Like, is it actually like sitting on her for that entire time? And I was like, yes. A quick thing, I wanted to show you guys my overlay just really quickly, that I've put each of our cats on there. But so this is KitKat's cat, and this is Lissy. I do have another cat. He's grey and white Darcy, but he's just not here. Don't tell him that we put Lissy here, not him. And then Kate actually has 3 cats now.
Yeah, I don't know how that got out of control real quick.
I couldn't put all of our cats here because then it'll just be just a cat stream, just cat podcast. So I guess I'll just quickly answer this question in terms of how do I prioritize my self-care. To be honest with you, I use streaming as a way for my own self-care. So I think probably you guys are similar as well. I feel like streaming is our downtime in some ways. Like I feel like chatting to the community, letting out my chaos, and then, you know, hearing other people's chaos, and, you know, just I feel like I'm streaming to get away from all the chaos in my life. I'm going to be honest, I don't really have time to play games, and when I do, it's basically when I'm streaming. All right, so I guess let's go on to the next question, which is so burnout. We're going to talk about burnout. So it is something that many of us creators experience. Even though this is our downtime, it doesn't mean to say that we don't experience burnout. So have you guys faced it, and how did you manage or recover from it? Any of you can go for this one first.
I'm trying to think of any specific specific moments so that I can give kind of more concrete example, but I can't, so let's just talk about it generally.
Okay.
Also, I just want to first preface this with actually for me, it's different for me, Kay.
Okay.
It's not my downtime.
Oh, sorry.
So
keep going.
No, it's fine. It's
I'm
just
terrible. I'm so sorry. I
me,
just literally said that it was, and then it's not. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, for me, it's not. It's fun. Like I enjoy it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it.
Yes, okay.
But it's not downtime for me. It's still there's effort involved. It's tiring. It's kind of a it's still work in a way. Like I'm earning money from it, right? It's still it's work, but it's not like my job work. It's very different. It's something I look forward to, but it's still an effort. And I need downtime from streaming for sure.
Yeah. No, definitely. I definitely think that it is effort. It is so much effort. Like it took me, I don't know how long to just do this overlay. If you're listening to the podcast
exactly,
and you're
right?
not watching, if you get chance, come check out like the stuff that we actually have to do. In the video.
There's lots
podcast.
of prep, right? There's
Yes.
prep, whether it's kind of your digital sort of overlays and the way things look, or if it's
Just
like
all the
setting up
things.
audio stuff, or
Yeah.
making sure all your permissions and your security are all tight around your bots and things. So and I guess that's a good segue into burnout.
Yeah.
So it's an effort. Streaming is not easy, and often people will ask me, I'm thinking about streaming. You know, what do you think? And I say to them, don't do it. Is my first sentence. But then I say, but if you really want to give it a go, these are my sort of main principles and what what helps me. So. Yeah, because it's not just a simple thing.
Yeah.
But it also depends. Like if you just want to kind of try it and you're not. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so burnout is so real because I want to do the best work I can.
Yeah.
And I want things to look slick. I think I want things to work slick. I don't want mistakes or things to go wrong or technical issues. Of course, I know they do, but that all sort of affects the way you feel about things. I just feel like burnout is a bit of a cycle. Like it's kind of inevitable when you're doing something, and particularly because I have a full-time job and I stream, that's a lot of hours of how many hours are in a week. I don't know. Someone will know how many hours are in a week. I don't. But, that's
billion.
40 hours of, it's like a lot, right? It's 40 hours of work, and then potentially up to 3 or 4 hours of streaming twice a week. So another 6 to 8 hours, possibly, plus the prep involved in streaming, plus my commute time to and from work. That doesn't leave a lot of hours left in the week to spend with my husband or go see my mum or just veg out on the sofa, which is something I very much enjoy. Or pet my cats. For me, it's inevitable, but it's not something to, I try not to stress about it. So it's like, I know it's acknowledging that it will happen, and it does happen, but it's how I deal with it is the key. Just taking a break and being okay that you can take a break and being upfront with people, saying, I'm just overwhelmed. It's a bit much. I'm really tired. I need a break.
Yeah.
And not apologizing. That's a hard thing. I think as humans, we so
always.
Instinctively want to say,
Yes.
I'm sorry I can't stream tonight.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to take away those words, I'm sorry, and just saying, I'm really tired, everyone. There won't be a stream tonight. Looking forward to seeing you next time. Or I need a week off. This work's been a lot. I'll see you when I see you. And I know that when I'm back, I'll feel far better than I did when I was in that burnout state.
I think you're very strong. I feel like that's a very strong.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's also it's still something that I'm getting used to doing. And I think as I get older as well, like age plays a role in it. That if I was streaming in my 20s, I would be having such a different experience to streaming in my 30s. I think there's a difference there as well.
KitKat, have you ever faced it like burnout, and how did you recover from it?
So I think that, like Kate was saying, it's a cycle, and I think when so many things just sort of like build on top of each other, and it feels like there's no like relenting, and that's kind of how it happens if you don't take time to pause. And I've definitely had that happen, especially when we came back into the office like full time. I mean, we still are remote on Fridays. Thank goodness, because I would riot, find a new job. Like, it's that important to me. I'm not there on Friday. I'm at home working.
Yeah.
But like when we first went back in the fall of 21 to full time in the office, I basically had burnout because I couldn't sleep because I was still so anxious about COVID as well.
Yeah.
Because, the vaccines had just come, and I think I had probably gotten one more recently because I'm younger than my other coworkers. So they were all like, first wave. And I just had so much anxiety that I was awake at 3 a.m. having to go into the office by like 7:30 or 8. And I usually do work like 7:30 to 3:30 just so that I can get home sooner. That's the main reason. And traffic is lighter then. But I was just like up in the middle of the night, like crying.
Oh my God.
And Pete would be like, why are you awake? Because I mean, you guys are on a completely different sun. Like it's morning there for you. It's afternoon for me. And like, what are you doing? I was like, I cannot sleep. And so like I managed that and worked through that by making an appointment with my GP and getting on anxiety meds because I could not sleep. And I wish I had been on anxiety meds so much sooner than I was. Because were times like earlier in COVID too, where I would, be working from home, but just so exhausted because I wasn't sleeping then either, or not very well, or, there's just so much going on in the mind all the time. And I was like, I wish that I had felt comfortable getting back on anxiety medicine sooner. And so that has really helped me. And I think like Kate was saying, when you reach that point, you just have to take a break and not be sorry about it.
Yeah. Do you know something
Because
though? It's hard though to take a break because
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real with you guys. As a small content creator, we take a break and we will lose the consistency and then we lose people. It's hard. I guess that's why I had to stop thinking about growth so much because it's just, as KitKat said, like, we all have ambitions when we first start streaming. I'm gonna try a name for partner. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. How stupid and naive I was back then. I'm gonna go back and
No, ambitious and hopeful.
yeah, I was very hopeful.
Okay, it's different words.
But yeah, like it is hard. Like I took every time I take time off. So like I actually took a year off streaming, and when I had my child and everything like that, I had really bad postpartum depression. I was so bad. And to take like a year off, and I came back to like my viewers were very little, like single digits. And then even as much as a couple of months ago, I took like a week off, and I came back, and 2 weeks off, and then I came back and I realized a decline. And it was like, oh, I had built this much up, and then now there's been a decline again. And I got to that's the hard thing for me, is like just like giving ourselves a break is great. Like we need to do it. We need the break. But it has such a negative impact on our streaming, and I hate it. I hate it so much when that happens. I'm just being honest. I'm being very honest.
Yeah.
I probably have never been as honest as I am being right now. Do you guys feel that way ever?
Absolutely. Completely agree.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like I'm barely ever in the double digits.
Yeah.
Unless I get rated by YouKayy or Kiwisimskate or, someone who, or, multiple raids, because there can be streams where you don't get any. And like I don't look at the view count when I'm streaming.
Oh, turn it off.
Don't.
Honestly, we have
Yeah,
to. I've turned it off. I just don't want to.
My best advice to anybody is turn it off. I also don't even open the email recaps that I get from Twitch or like Stream Elements. Don't look at them most of the time unless I'm like, oh, that was a really like big stream, but it might have been like a party of some kind, like a big celebration, and so that, or like a fundraising party that usually can draw a little bit more engagement, or a giveaway in The Sims 4.
Yeah.
It's like the only thing. Why it's in the title.
Numbers.
Like, that's where it comes from. That's why Pete can't win anything, because other people would.
I once joined one of the giveaways, and I immediately regretted it because I don't play Sims, and I was like, please God, don't let me win this, because then KitKat's like, you're bloody playing the Sims. You're doing it because you win this bloody giveaway. Oh God, yeah. I wanted to just quickly give some advice about burnout. I guess I'm not going to take the advice, but I'll give it to you nonetheless to other people listening.
Oh my God, I'm so good at doing that too. Yeah. That's my specialty area, giving advice. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess with burnout, for what I just said, because I just thought of it just now as we were talking. So you know how I was saying, like, it's hard when we face burnout, but then as a content creator, you might not want to take the time off. Maybe play a game. So stream, but play a game that's not as intense, and you can just switch your mind off and change your title this way. So to be honest, I do this. I change my title to, hey, be nice to me, because my chat is absolutely atrocious to me sometimes. And I love it. It's like, they're so like atrocious. It's chaos. And they're so sarcastic because I'm sarcastic. So I get what I give, right? So I have to put on my title, be nice to me today. I'm not feeling well. My mental health is low. I'm playing a really low game. And I turn off my camera and I change to becoming a potato tuber. So I become a potato. And that's how I'm getting through those days. So if you come in and you see me as a potato, be nice to me, because I'm having a very low K day.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
And I think everybody should love potatoes. Yes. Please be nice to the potato.
Please be nice to potatoes. So I think that's probably a good way to deal with burnout, but also probably not the best way to deal with burnout. But the best way would be just do it. Just take a break.
Just take a break.
Just I sometimes get to the point where I'm like, all right, I just can't do this. I just can't. I just got to give in today. I just can't do it. I'm really sorry. And I said it. Oh my God. See, there you go. I said it, Kate. I apologize.
I'm sorry. You don't need to be sorry. You don't owe anyone anything other than what you owe yourself.
Somebody quote that. Somebody pin that. Like, clip it. Did you hear that? Clip it. So anyone else have anything to say about burnout before we move on?
I thought you two just said it really well.
I agree. I think that going camless, there were a few different times. One was like related to like not streaming for like to show support to Palestine. And so I just like played a game in the Discord, and you know, if anyone wanted to come watch, but like not having your camera on, investing in the little cat VTuber that I haven't had to use it recently, but
It's so cute.
It looks just like that one. But it's so useful to just be able to play something very relaxing and chill like Stardew Valley and not have to worry about still being with other people. That was really my main reason for it, because I had to take a break after my dog passed. I was like, you don't want to look at me like I'm a mess all the time. You can listen to me be a mess. And there was another time as well where I didn't have a PNG tuber, but just like didn't have a camera on because of, you know, kind of similar reasons, not because of that, but like just like don't look at me.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I don't want to be perceived, but I would still love to spend time with you. And so like being okay with having like those lower energy streams too, and not thinking you have to be so on all the time.
I'm going to take advice from both of you because I feel like that's an area I'm not good at. Like I don't think I've ever streamed without my camera because for me although it's a core for me in order to build the growth, but actually what I've come to realize over the last year is that the growth needs to not be like, I still think about it, but it needs to, it's not realistic to have that as my priority. So in actual fact, things that are gonna help me enjoy the times that I can stream when maybe I'm not feeling like I can be on, I need to I just need to use some of those tips and tricks.
Well, if you want, we can always send you the links for the stuff that we use, and we can decide on your PNG tuber.
What would I be? How exciting!
Just an image of New Zealand
or kiwi fruit.
Oh yeah, we did it. Oh my God!
But it just looks like a little kind of
that would be
fluffy,
like a potato,
brown.
actually.
Oh my God, it looks like a potato.
I'm gonna send you so many things now.
Oh, exciting!
All right, so I guess how do we then handle the emotional side of streaming, like managing the negative comments and the difficult interactions? I feel like we have gone through this in the last couple of podcasts. I want to talk about it at length now, I guess.
This is like not related to a comment on streaming. Last year,
if you want to call people out, do it. It's fine.
I don't know who they are. But like whenever I was like, I'm gonna start posting speed builds on YouTube. Like when I was actually trying to do that, there was some random comment where someone was like, and is literally just me doing like a voiceover. Like I don't have a camera on, but a voiceover like after the fact with some music in the background. And someone commented on one of them, do you have any without you talking? Like some people don't want to listen to you talk.
I remember.
And I was like,
I remember this. Yeah.
Right? It's so random.
Yeah.
And I was just like, who are you? And also, do you know what you're listening to the like royalty free music on YouTube? Like you could get that if you really want to listen to it on repeat. Like it's just repeating. It was just like
just hit the mute button.
I know. Just
I get it. I don't want to listen to me either, but I
want to listen to you.
Mute the video or just not say anything. I was just like,
can I ask a question? Did you reply to the comment?
I think I did, and I don't remember what I said. I could go look it up.
Honestly, sometimes when you're replying to these negative comments, it can keep going, and so at one point you have to know when to stop. Like like I had comments. Oh my God, I have a lot of see, in terms of live streaming, if I get somebody that comes in, if you're a little bit cheeky, okay. But then if you get to the point where you're breaking my rules or you're being disrespectful to my mods or the people in my community that have been in here for a while, I will boot them so hard. I'll be like, I don't care. You're gone. Bye. Yeah, so sometimes it can be hard, but I feel like I've gotten better, whereas before I wasn't. So like before, oh my God, when I was streaming with somebody in my chat that was like horrible, I didn't know how to deal with it. So I actually just ended stream because I didn't know how to deal with it. So now I just try to just, you know what? Have you noticed whenever we have the worst time in our chat, our mods are never around?
Yes.
Let's just call them out. Let's drag them right
Yes.
now.
How dare you?
Have you noticed they're just never around?
Yeah.
Just the worst time. But I feel like they target you knowing that your mods just said, oh, I'm going to go BRB. I'm going to go lurk. And then they're just like, oh, hello, coming out of the woodworks.
Just the weirdos. Like, what are you doing here?
Did you find your comment?
No, I am looking.
Yeah. How about you,
It
Kate?
would have to be.
How do you manage negative and difficult situations?
I think again, it's a little for me. It's a bit of a growth in emotional maturities and an age thing. I feel like if I were younger, with fewer life experiences, it would be tougher. It's still not easy. Like I'm not saying like I've learned how to deal with them now. I'm still learning.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's way easier. The older I get, the fewer I give.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so although something might affect me in the moment, and usually it does, just like you get a gut initial emotional reaction.
Yes. Yeah.
My brain can recover faster these days in terms of thinking about it logically and going, who was this person that said this comment?
Yes.
Why might they have been saying it?
Yeah.
Should it really affect me?
Yeah.
What is it about it that gave me such a reaction? And generally I can kind of logic my way out of it. And ultimately, usually it's like, this person means nothing to me. Like, why do I care about this person's comment?
Yeah.
And in terms of sort of replying to people, again, it's generally not worth replying for me, because usually the conclusion I draw is that person isn't really targeting me. Like it's not, they see probably like that's how I see it. You know, they're not going to my channel, Twitch or YouTube or wherever and thinking that I'm particularly bad. I think it's more a problem with them. Like they have something that they need to express and get out, and they've come across me or come across my channel, and I just happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And they were going to do it anyway or say it anyway somewhere, and I just happened to be there. So I sort of reframe it like that and think, you know, they don't know me either.
Yeah.
You don't know me.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
why should it matter what you
he-
think? Because you can't actually judge me.
Yeah. I think
Right?
though, you're 100% right. But sometimes people think because we're streaming live that they know us. Like they know us really
for
well.
sure.
They've been to like one stream. This is their second time. They know us now, and I'm like, I don't.
I mean,
think you
even
do.
long-term community
That's
members.
True. Yes.
They're our community, you know, they're our online people, but there's also a difference between in real life friends and, you know, our community online. And we may love them and want to foster that relationship, but it's different to my friends and family in the real world that, you know, are in this house or that are, have been in my life for years.
Yeah.
And I think that actually, can I call out another streamer to sort of kind of give
Go
them
for
a bit of an acknowledgement. So Weeboo, who's also an Aussie streamer, she recently posted something around that friendship theme, around, you know, the importance of just remembering that this is our community, yes, and we really care about each other and we want to create these amazing places, but there is a difference still. And you may know me as Kiwisimskate the streamer, but you don't know me outside of that unless I invite you into that world, right?
Right.
Yeah. In terms of my personality, I'm pretty much the same on and off camera. Like, I'm pretty sassy and annoying and like loud and sometimes like angry, just in real life as well. But it's really hard what you're saying. Sometimes I do feel like, because I do sometimes feel it's so hard. I'm finding it quite hard with what you're saying, because I agree with it, but also it's like, for me, like, some of the people in my community have become such an integral part of my life. It's like there are some people in my community that I just can't see my life without.
And that's your choice to
yes,
like bring them into that part of like your life, right?
Yeah.
Is, I guess all I'm saying is that by default,
Right.
people in your community are not that, but depending on what, and also it's, I just want to make the distinction about, I'm not saying I'm not genuine or streamers aren't being their genuine self. I still think that's important, and you know, we're not putting on an act when we're here. This is us, but I guess it's
it's like, where do you draw the line? That's what you're saying.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's really tricky.
So hard. It's so
tricky.
hard. But I get what you're saying, though, because it is really hard, because you're sort of trying to find that fine line. But you are right in that I do feel like some people, they have been around, but then they don't know me really, because, you know, we've not really hung around as much together, and we're it's like one-sided thing, like one side. It is one-sided, isn't it? Because we're on the
They
screen.
know you or think they do,
more,
but you don't know who.
But exactly, and we're not. I don't know. It's so hard.
For example,
you
know, none of the three of us said the place we work, right? And like that's something I'm not going to share. Like, you don't want someone from your online community showing up at your workplace, right?
Exactly.
I mean, I don't.
Exactly.
I'll just speak for myself.
Nope. Exactly.
That's a line that I've drawn. I'm happy to share things about my job that don't give away where I work, or you know, it's that kind of a line. Whereas my in IRL friends, I don't know how to kind of call them, but my husband or, you know, a friend that I, you know, workmate, they know where I live. They know where I work. They know the commute I take. They know where I went last night, you know, specifically. And I may talk about, like, I'm going to a thing, I'm going to an event. But I'm
a specific
trying to be quite careful
where,
about like naming places and that kind of thing.
So I guess this is going into the one of the questions that I had, which is streaming often involves balancing authenticity with privacy. So, you know, how we're deciding what parts of our life we want to share with our community and what part do we keep private. Actually, somebody in my community said that I'm a bit of an enigma, and I was like, oh, okay, I didn't realize that. And I was like, okay, well, I guess
that can be kind of cool.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm okay with that, to be honest. I'm okay with that because there again. So we're talking about this, like, where do you draw the line? KitKat and I actually answered this question in season 1, didn't we, KitKat? We talked about this a lot, which is how do we draw the line, which is the authenticity with privacy. What do we share? What don't we share with the community? So I guess Kate, you're already in the middle of going through that. So if you want to finish up.
I think for me, it's security and privacy is really important to me. I've probably made mistakes online, like online in general, across personal social accounts or streaming social accounts. I've probably sometimes in various points maybe shared more than at this stage in my life I might think I should.
Yes.
But today my kind of belief is that, I've always got it in the back of my mind that there's a separation there, and it's my right to invite you into that world if I want to. But I'm quite a skeptical person in general. I don't trust easily. That doesn't equal I don't want to have a relationship with you online. Like, those are not mutually exclusive. So I can have a sense of mistrust and skepticism, but still very much hold a relationship with you online. And it doesn't mean anything. There's no detriment to the relationship in my eyes. It's just keeping myself safe and keeping myself secure online is really the goal.
Yeah.
So, and that's how I do it, is I try to leave out specifics and just be mindful of how much I share.
Yeah, and I think if we go back to like what we talked about in season 1, which we were talking about this as well in great detail, which is the protecting ourselves. And I felt like one of the things that me and KitKat said was also being a female streamer, like adding that into the mix. And just like keeping ourselves safe and protecting ourselves. I did talk about a situation in season 1. I'm not going to go into it too much because I want you to go back and listen to and watch season 1. But it's basically where I had a situation where I felt like they were going to stalk me and stuff. So that felt really uncomfortable. KitKat, do you have anything to add to that as well?
Yeah, I think just like Kate was saying, and like you've said, as a woman, keeping your location and where you're physically at private to people. Like, I mean, you guys are far away, but not everyone is far away, because you don't know who all is watching or who watch.
I mean, the entire internet is potentially watching.
Yes.
Like, one time, I mean, this VOD has long since disappeared, but my Sinatra girl, my sister, was in chat, and she said the name of this town where she lives. Yeah. Because she was like new to Twitch anyway, but so I just like immediately deleted it, and then I might have taken the VOD out. At one time, I accidentally showed like my Facebook messages in a browser. Like, I actually showed that screen, and I mean, I don't think it had my name, but it had my friends' names.
Yes.
And some of them have pretty common names, but just like they'll look at that, like taking that VOD down afterwards, like, oh, too bad that was a fun stream. See ya. Just keeping those things separate. Yes. Saying like, oh, I'm going to go to like a Christmas market. I'm not going to tell you where it is.
Yes. Yeah.
When I started streaming, and as I've gone, I have, in terms of my online presence, my social presence, I've got 2 very clear separate accounts as well. And I don't know the waterproof, like the watertightness of that for an internet sleuth. Maybe they can get, figure out the connection. Who knows? See, that's kind of the tricky thing is, right? Some people can work wonders on the internet to find things out. Yes. But, I have a separate email account. I have a separate socials, and then I have my private stuff.
Yeah, I think we all
which doesn't get a lot of love these days. But so my email address doesn't have my name on it. Yes. All of that kind of stuff is I tried to make quite a conscious decision to separate those as well.
I think it's so important that everyone has a separate account. Like I've had a friend who started streaming, and I said, mate, you need a separate email address for your streaming. Like, it needs to happen. You need to separate that as well. And like, I've started, ever since I had that whole incident happen to me, I stopped doing like, so when I go places and I post on my story, that I'm there. I don't do that like live anymore. So I wait until I've left the place to post those things now.
That's so interesting because I had the same thought last night. I went out and I every time I go somewhere or I do something outside of streaming, I want to share it with my community.
Yes.
But I also like I went out last night and I thought about taking a photo or a video and posting it. I thought, no, I'll do it after the fact. And even still, I almost still don't want to make it obvious the exact location I was at, just the activity.
That's it. Yeah. And the thing, it goes into the next bit where, to be honest, I thought to myself, I'm not really a big streamer. I'm not a big deal. So what's the point? And I didn't really think about that kind of stuff, which goes into our next question, which is we're going to be talking about in a second. It's about... Actually, not in a second. We're gonna cut it we're gonna end the part 1 here, and join us for the next part of our podcast, part 2, where we will dive into a bit more of balancing with a job and also like balancing streaming with a job, but also the imposter syndrome. We're going to be talking about that at length in a second. So thank you so much for watching part 1 of our Streamer Therapy podcast. Please follow our channels for the second episode wherever you get your podcast, where we dive into balancing, as I said, streaming with a job and more. So don't forget to check out the links for our guests as well to get to know us a little bit more individually. Thanks, guys. See you next week. Bye.